You may have heard of popular matchmaking sites like eHarmony or Match.com, but have you heard of AshleyMadison.com? Some would call it a matchmaking site, and some might call it just a cheater's paradise. Ashley Madison is an online dating service and social networking site marketed to people who are already in relationships that are looking to date. Who else but other people who are also in relationships, or even singles who are just up for the thrill. In the last decade since it launched, the website has gained quite the traction, seeing popularity in cities all over the world. And if you're curious to know the top cheater-friendly websites in the cities in the U.S., you're in luck. The website has just released its latest list of top 10 mistress cities. And surprisingly, in the #1 spot is Phoenix. But in a close second is Washington, D.C., followed by Dallas, Las Vegas, and Los Angeles. So what makes Phoenix Mistress Central, and what are the factors that may be contributing to the demand for this very niche service? To talk about all that and more, I'm joined by founder of AshleyMadison.com, Noel Biederman. Noel, thank you so much for joining me. So,
Thank you for having me.
Phoenix is #1 on this list, beating out both Washington, D.C. and Las Vegas, which I think most people would expect to have taken the top spots. Why does the city of Phoenix seem to be the headquarters for homewreckers?
You know, it was interesting. You know, the Phoenix rise, if you will, was surprising to me too. But when I looked at the data a little further, we found that there was the mistress phenomenon, but with an aged effect, right? You had a lot of mistresses in their 30s and 40s looking to date older men. You know, we do have what we affectionately call our Viagra generation on Ashley Madison, men in their 60s, even in their 70s using the service, and clearly what they're looking for is someone at least younger than them. I think Phoenix kind of fits that mold more so than any other city in America.
Well, let's talk about the Ashley Madison website more generally, because it now boasts more than 20 million members across 6 continents. Are you surprised by how quickly it's grown, and what factors are really contributing to its demand, do you think?
You know, I would like to take all the credit for our worldwide success, but ultimately I think it says more about the human condition than about me as a business lead. You know, infidelity crosses both genders, every socioeconomic group, every ethnic group. There's really nobody that's immune to possibly wanting to have affairs, even in places where it's prohibited by law, and even worse, people still do it because it's that much of a biological drive. And so I think that's what is at its core. We call ourselves a monogamous society, but when we really take a long look at it, we tend to be much more of a non-monogamous society, just paying lip service to the event.
And Noel, how would you describe the demographic of people who sign up for this, male versus female, single versus married?
Yeah, I think really interestingly, you know, I'm in this for the business, and I don't make any bones about that, but we've become a really interesting repository, almost for cyber anthropologists to take a look at the infidelity phenomenon, because before the internet, you really couldn't tell who was cheating, right? People who are cheating aren't putting their hands up in the air. So we're really the first service of its kind that can tell you, listen, it is your neighbors, it is your best friends. It's not just politicians and athletes. And so it turns out that, you know, women cheat at about a 40% rate, men at a slightly higher rate. But ultimately, it's professional women. It's women who are in the workplace, earning a lot, and having a successful career, going on business trips, so well personified by that movie Up in the Air that George Clooney did a couple years ago. That really is the modern phenomenon. Infidelity is being changed by women in this day and age.
And just out of curiosity, has the company done any research in the kinds of professions that are largely associated with Ashley Madison's membership?
Oh, absolutely. That was one of the first questions journalists asked us back in 2009. You know, is it bankers over doctors? Well, it turns out those are #1 and #2, and they seem to flip-flop year in and year out. And on the female side, you know, everything from real estate agents to teachers have crossed the #1 list. And so I don't think it's professional environment necessarily. It's more about the DNA of the individual. You know, what kind of professions attract people with that risk-taking mentality? That seems to be the case. On the other hand, you know, people in the military, nurses, doctors, they do experience life and death on a different level, on a daily level than others. And so maybe those people are less predisposed to stay within an unfulfilled marriage longer than the rest of us.
Well, Noel, it's certainly very interesting information to be tracking, and we'll definitely be following all the latest stats to come out of the website. Noel Biederman, founder of AshleyMadison.com, thank you.
Thanks for having me.